The Rampage movie is getting released this Friday, and I look back at one of my childhood favorites. How does it hold up? Let's find out, because I'm full of rage. I'm full of Rampage.
Rampage was originally an arcade game from 1986 by Midway. The NES version was released in 1988. You have two choices, the King Kong-inspired George or the Godzilla-homaged Lizzie. My favorite has always been Lizzie. Well, because I'm a Godzilla fan. The goal is to destroy cities, eat people, and food. Plus avoid eating non-edible substances. Then there's the whole military trying to stop you while you go on your rampage. They're always throwing sticks of dynamite or shooting at poor Lizzie or George.
Come on, someone call PETA.
They waste so much taxpayer dollars by sending barrages of helicopters. They stand no match against the might of these mutated freaks. In a few cities, a tank will roll in to shoot at the monsters. If they hit the mark, that creature will go flying. Local law enforcement will attempt to stall the beast as well. Will they ever learn? You brought a car to a kaiju fight? You can play simultaneous two-player action, where you and a friend destroy America together, and a little bit of Canada. Well, that's a bummer, eh? The game takes place over 128 days. You start in California and end in California. If Lizzie or George take too much damage, they will revert back into human form. They'll slink across the screen in their birthday suits. By pressing B, they transform back into their gigantic, monstrous personalities once again and resume the carnage. The two-player mode adds the benefit of true monster mayhem by allowing the monsters to attack each other. Get out of my way! One thing we did as kids, when the other person started transforming back into a human, we would eat them before they could turn back into a monster. Tastes just like human. Rampage is full of humor. Like when a monster falls from the building, they cover their eyes as they fall. The intros in between days have comical statements such as "Streaking X monster arrested." Paraphrasing.
One big difference you'll notice with the NES version, it's missing one of the major characters. It's missing Ralph the Wolf.
What's missing in the NES port is the playable monster Ralph the Wolf. Honestly, there's no difference between the monsters except the sprites. One isn't stronger or has more health. Still, I'm not sure why they couldn't include Ralph. If you think about it, Rampage may have been able to support the NES Satellite or Force School. 3 players tearing up cities at the same time, just like the original arcade game. The Atari Lynx handheld system had all 3 original characters from the arcade game, plus an exclusive 4th character, Larry the Rat. Just in case you wanted to know.
Does that make a major difference? My favorite was Lizzie anyway, and George is my second favorite.
The NES plays almost the same as the arcade. The NES graphics are 8-bit, the arcade is much better looking. The sound works for both Rampage games. I used to love the arcade game when I was a little monster. I remember this one arcade, when I'd go there, I'd go and waste so many quarters playing Rampage. When I got Rampage for the home console, I was overjoyed. I couldn't wait to wreak havoc as Lizzie or George. I played this game so much as a kid, for hours. Let's pause for a moment. Now think back to what I just stated, for hours. Unpause. That's the problem with Rampage. It's very repetitive, and even though the cities are supposed to look a little different, it's really the same action over and over. Yes, some cities have taxis or trucks you can destroy. Even a few has trains. It doesn't add enough variety in my opinion. You can't really speed through this game. There isn't a warp zone or anything like that. You march through day after day destroying buildings and ruining people's lives. You only destroy buildings and eat people for so long. Some cities you can tell where you are, like the Big Apple. You get the Statue of Liberty in the background. There is a bonus stage where you hunt for the multivitamin. It heals the monsters. You get to play the bonus stage a little after the area is conquered. Later cities, the military seems to get stronger. Tanks shoot faster, police as well. Still, The difficulty stays pretty much the same. What's truly difficult is trying to play through all the days.
Rampage on the NES has an ending, unlike the arcade, and what an ending it is.
After destroying LA, you get the following.
Sorry for the spoilers.
Like I said, there isn't really a speed run to finish the game. You can shave off time by just focusing on buildings and making them fall. My strategy has always been to take out the lower parts of the building and they will crumble faster. Even with this strategy in place, it can take upwards of 2.5 hours to complete the game. Rampage is unique for the time. Even today, there isn't a lot of giant monster bashers for systems. Still, it does get rather dull after a while. I have nostalgia for the game, both the arcade and the NES. I think the later releases like World Tour have more variety and might be more appealing to a modern audience. With Rampage the movie hitting theaters, I wonder how many people are going to go break out their NES carts and start going to town on towns.
Well, that's Rampage for the NES. And a little bit from the arcade. You tell me what you think of Rampage. Does it still hold up today? Is it going to hold the movie in its palms and crush it like George does buildings? Or breathe toilet water as Lizzie eats a man on the toilet? Is that what you feel of the game? It's toilet water? Or is it a fun little romp for the NES and for the arcade? Well, guys, that's it for this review in a few. I gotta go and destroy some buildings.